All right. I think the first stream is now on. Looks like it's working. All right, perfect. So in this stream, I just want to go over how I make things using AI uh, coding tools. I'm a coder by trade. I've been doing it now for like 15 years or something like that. And for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, maybe even, actually, no. Well, I guess it depends how you define it. I've been using different tools for a while now, but I've really been focusing a little bit on VO just for fun. And I realized I could probably just stream this just to show people what I do because I watch a lot of different AI channels on YouTube, and none of them really do applications. Like they're not walking you through step by step. Hey, how do you actually use this tool to do what you want? In fact, most people I see who talk about AI tools, especially like developers, they really don't like them. They don't, they're very critical of the tool itself, and that's fine. I just, for them, that's fine. And I think for certain coding, that makes a ton of sense. However, I think for most cases, I think it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially if you're just trying to make a basic product. And that's kind of what I want to show you. So what I do to make projects, these are the projects I've made. Like one or two are not my projects, but almost all of them are. And I've just done a lot of different stuff. And so I'm just going to start with a super easy project today. And I figure I'm just going to do a bunch of live streams, show you guys what I do, because I just like to do it for fun. That's the interesting thing. This isn't even part of my business. I can't show that, but I have done this for my business, where it's basically I can do a full stack application. I built that in 3 hours, basically like a really cool texting app that's super, super helpful. And because I just couldn't find one that worked for me, and I was like, you know what? Let me just do what I've been doing in VO, and I was able to make it work. But basically, the gist of it is this. When it comes to coding replacing devs, it is 100% going to happen, okay? It might not happen today or in a week or in a month. It's happening right now, though. It's like slowly happening for different roles. People just don't realize it. It's not going to be a 100% takeover, I don't think. Actually, it probably will be eventually. But maybe that's like 5 or 10 years down the line. But for right now, the fact is most AI code, even if you're just talking to ChatGPT, even if you're just having a conversation with Chat, you don't need junior devs anymore. In fact, junior devs just aren't getting hired at the rates that they were for a couple reasons. One, most people aren't in office, so it's kind of hard to train a junior dev when they're not in office. It's not impossible. I mean, my first mentor, he was in England and I was in San Francisco, so it's not really a big deal. But, it definitely affected it. If I would have been more in person, it would have helped a lot. That's why when I ran a coding boot camp, it was a lot easier to be in person. It's very hard to do online. We did online with some people, and only like one guy did well, and that's just because he really wanted it. Whereas, in person just makes it a lot easier. So that's part of the problem is you don't have in-person companies anymore. But also, ChatGPT is basically a well above average mid-level dev for the most part, even higher, even like probably senior dev at this point, and soon it's just going to get higher and higher where they can just do everything. And I want to show you guys a little bit more about that because Chat isn't the only thing that you could use. I like v0.dev. It's just incredible at coding. It shows you a lot of stuff. I made a bunch of projects with it. And what we're going to start with is just something super, super easy, which is a portfolio website, right? I've always had my students make portfolio websites when they want to get hired. Personally, I think if you're doing any job nowadays, not just programming, I think almost everybody needs a portfolio, not just tech. I think it's just a really easy thing to do. There's no reason not to have it, especially because you have VO now, which can create it for you pretty much in minutes. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to perfect it, but you could have a basic one up and running in a few minutes. Essentially, that's what I'm going to walk you guys through today. So here's a quick portfolio site I just whipped up. So we just have the main, image here. You have videos you can add in. It even did this animation. So I actually walked it through doing this cool animation. It has an About Me section. It has my projects here, which also are videos. So I basically just did a bunch of projects to show automations and AI, other things you can do. Of course, it created the images for this. Let's see. It did the testimonials section. These are all real. I didn't get fake testimonials. These are pulled in of real people, a lot of my students and stuff. And then I have my publications, things that I was, in, for different AI, things like that. And then a personal gallery. And it can just do all this, and contact information as well. And so it can just do all of this automatically. It's crazy. So I was going to walk you through that process because for most people, what I've seen them do, and these are the people that kind of like hate on AI as part of development, is they try it once, it doesn't work perfectly, and then they're just like, well, it doesn't work, so they just completely stop doing it. Uh, with AI, it is very much trial and error, and you need to figure out what works. So just as an example, um, I always will basically walk through several different AI models. So I'll use Chat, I'll use Grok, I'll use Claude, I'll use Perplexity. I'll use all the big ones basically and say, okay, let's see how well they perform at this task that I give it. And it's pretty obvious right away which ones are really bad at it. And maybe there's one or two that are good, and then you find out which one's better at it. And as far as partnering or like working with an AI to do this, I like ChatGPT. I use Claude mostly for writing and things like that. ChatGPT is very helpful with what I'm about to do because what I could do, so I basically have like a new chat up, and I essentially could just tell it, hey, build me a portfolio website. Here's the problem, and this is what, again, I see people make the mistake of doing, is Chat is much, much better at creating a prompt for VO than I am. And so I use ChatGPT as a back and forth in order to basically get some ideas, get some help on what I'm doing. So let's just kind of dive into that right now. So I can just tell Chat, like, I'm building a portfolio website in v0.dev. Can you help me flesh out the website? And then I'll say, let's just make something up. Let's just say I'm a, I don't know, I guess I could say web dev. I guess people watching this are probably more in development, so that's fine. Let's just go with, like, I'm a full stack developer, focusing on, no, I don't even have to say that. Just say I'm a full stack developer. Ask me questions to help figure out how to make this website amazing. Okay, one critical thing is you really want to ask AI to ask you questions. This is just really, really helpful. You could even specify, you could say, ask me 10 questions, ask me 20 questions, whatever it is. A lot of times Chat will just kind of go through whatever it thinks, and you can ask it to ask you even more questions. And sometimes I'll have this same conversation with several different AI, and they'll have some different ideas. So it's never a bad idea to do it. So let's just kind of start. And I prefer O3 when I'm doing this. It's just kind of like deeper reasoning without taking, 15 minutes. The deep research isn't great at this. Okay, what's the main attraction? Okay, so let's just go through, and I'm just going to do, apply. Let's just say apply for jobs. 2, who's the primary audience? Recruiters and companies and HR. Let's just say. Whoop. And 3, list the top 3 projects that best represent your skills. Geez, let me see how I'd want to lay this out. We could just do like Airbnb, like project, like website, social media site, and we'll just do like, I don't know, car rental website. Okay. Which technologies or frameworks do you want to highlight? Full stack, and we'll just do like, I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. We'll just say full stack for right now. And then, do you want live demos, code snippets, or just screenshots? No demos for now. Oh wait, let's have a projects section with links. Okay. And then 6, any open source contributions or writing blog talks? No. Let's just go no for right now because I don't have anything I want to share. How short or detailed should your personal bio be? Let's stick to like not more than 5 sentences. We don't want to go crazy. People don't like reading a lot. Preferred visual style. Okay, vibrant color blocks, retro terminal. What the heck is that? Let's give that a try. Oh, like a retro terminal. If they talk about the terminal, I don't want that. Well, I don't know. Let's just go with like simple but bright. Let's see what it comes up with. And then which contact method and social media links? We'll do email, phone, LinkedIn, and GitHub. Okay. And then 10, need extras like a blog, resume. Resume PDF download. Yep, we'll do that. No newsletter signups. Questions about what sections should be included. All right, so now we want to break down sections, right? Now, I'm a big believer whenever you're making something, you want to work on functionality, and then form follows functionality, okay? So you're always going to do it that way. So here we have hello. Okay, here they actually are kind of thinking through it. It's already got a bunch of stuff, so that's great. So like form always follows function. So you always want to start with exactly what sections are critical for this project, even if it's something as simple as a portfolio you want to do that. We'll kind of do that more as we keep going. But let's see. Okay, write a v0.dev prompt that I can copy and paste in to create this website. Let's see. So again, I've given it a ton of information. It's asking me a bunch of questions. Now it's going to write a prompt. It's going to do it in a really kind of, shorthand for VO. And the more complicated it gets, the more it's going to kind of do interesting shorthand. It's really kind of nuts how weird the shorthand gets once you start doing full stack. Because I kind of understand what it's talking about, but it's so short sometimes, it's a little unbelievable. But again, I'll save that for later projects. We're going to do way more advanced stuff in future live streams. For right now, I'm just kind of interested in doing something like this. So let's see here. I'm going to paste this in. Let's do it. And the cool thing with VO is it's going to actually show us and visualize it. Wait, whoops, hold on. Okay, hold on, I'm going to go back. I did medium. Let's just do large. So you have different inputs. It costs different amount of money. But let's just go with the best one. Again, we're not going crazy. I just typically always go with the best. And I'm not doing a login or anything like that. So it's going to be real simple. Now, this is the interesting thing with coding with VO. Is a lot of times you're just sitting around waiting for it to finish to find out, did it do it right? Were there any kind of errors that it needs to fix? But a lot of what I do now is I'm just prompting it, finding out, testing it out, and then waiting 2-3 minutes to have it update, and then I deploy it, and then we're good to go. So right now it's just taking a little bit longer than usual, but that's okay. Give it some time here. Let's see. I can already see it already gave it some colors here. I always like blue. That's normally what I go with. Okay, there we go. Now, here we go. Okay. So it's generating the code here. And if we go to the code, you can actually see it laying it out. Now, it's going to be pretty simple because, again, it's just front end, but you could see how fast it's able to put all this together. Let's see. I'll show you all about hosting and stuff like that too, because you can see with my website, I actually have my own URL that I just added in. But again, you can buy a URL and point to it basically, so that way you can have a custom URL if you want and still keep it in VO and still deploy it from VO. You can connect it to GitHub, and there's just so much you can do. It's really nuts. Well, we're going to deploy once it's ready to go. So here it's creating the different sections, which is nice. Again, pretty easy to go in and edit as well. So, if you want to edit this stuff, you literally can just go in and change it on your own. You don't have to have the AI do it. You can just go in and make small changes if you want to. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Yep, do an education section. And so it just shows generating, but then, yeah, and it shows you this section. And it gives you a little bit, like basically while you're doing the project, it'll tell you a bunch of things that you can just kind of read through, see where it's going, what it's doing, how it's thinking about it. And so far, I've been playing around with it so much that I'm finally understanding how to properly work with it and debug issues. Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, there we go. So we can see it right in here. Okay, so I have a little image. I don't love how small it is, but it might look different on mobile as well. So here I have my tech stack. Here's some other things. And selected projects. Again, we could add more. We can copy and paste more. Professional experience in here. Education certifications. Resume download. Contact me. Okay, here's contact stuff as well. And then a footer. Okay, so it quickly put this together. Right, so if I just publish this, deploy to production. And then it's going to go through and deploy it. Oh, that's cool. This is actually like animated. I didn't even notice that. So this, that's actually like a nice back and forth that they have going on here. So again, it's basically just creating a template for you from scratch, which again, you can always just buy off of, one of these websites. You just go through and find a website, but you can be way more specific with this. Again, you can tell it to do different animations. You can have it do a lot of different things. I'll show you like how to update it real quick, because maybe let's just say we just want to get rid of some of this stuff. Let's go through. I don't love how dark it is. I think that's fine for me. I'm so used to dark backgrounds and everything, but again, if we were to make this for HR, I probably wouldn't do that. Oh, nope. Okay, it's just in there. Perfect. So this even looks better. Okay, cool. So let's see. Okay, so here's a few things. So let's just write a few things down. We basically want to add icons for the tech stack. I want to make the picture a lot bigger and have it put in. No, I probably won't even put in a picture of that. Here we have the view the demo. It'll open it up in a different one. So you put the code in, and it'll just automatically open up, right? Here we have solutions. So maybe we want icons in there that we would have to get for that company. Education certificate. This actually looks great. So I think it's actually fine. Now let's check it on mobile. Now that I think about it, I don't think we told it to be fully responsive. So let's see how it did. Okay. Perfect. Okay, that looks really good on mobile. It actually, a lot of times, it will focus on mobile first. Okay, that doesn't look great, but that's okay. Maybe we'll ask to improve it on mobile first. Okay, so let's do a few things. Let's see if we can make some improvements just by telling what we want. Okay. Here are some changes to make. One, make the picture in the About Me section on desktop much bigger to match the size. Two, actually, I don't want to say to match the size of the paragraph, because then it might accidentally just do like 50-50. So you just got to kind of be careful on how you phrase things. And then my tech stack. Okay, let's just see. Add the icons for the tech stack section. Let's see how it does with that. And then we're going to the professional experience section looks cramped on mobile. Can you fix that? And then I just send it in. Let's see how it does. And again, this is just kind of what I'm going through. A lot of times I'll be doing full stack, so I'll also have like Superbase open, which is the back end that connects to this. I don't actually connect it. I just have it talk to each other. I basically just put in the environmental variables so that it'll connect. But this is just basically what you do. So let's see what happens here. Okay, it's going through again. Now it's only going to update the code that it needs to basically fix. And a lot of times it will completely rewrite sections. So that's like, once you start getting a much bigger project going, you kind of got to be careful with that. Let's see. I've made the following changes. Headshot is not significantly larger. Section, okay, here we go. All right, so let's publish. So we can't just refresh it here. We have to publish it each time. So let's just deploy the changes. Well, there's no icons here. Well, again, maybe it's just not showing up yet. Let's see how this is a little bit different also. It wasn't like this before. So they rewrote this section, the experience section, which we actually saw it rewriting. And we'll see how it looks. And so the advantage of doing something like this, especially for a bigger project, which, again, we'll dive into future live streams. For a portfolio, you can just copy and paste something online so that, it's easy to do. It doesn't seem like it's as useful right now, only because you could find something like this, copy and paste it in, and be done in like an hour or two. Whereas, let's just go and refresh this. Whereas with some of the more complicated things, okay, I actually really like that look. The tech stack, see, it did not grab the images. I wonder if there's some reason why I can't do that. This got bigger. That's great. Now, what I might actually do is tell it to move it up, just from a design perspective, but that's okay. Let's see. Let's see if it fixed this for mobile. See how this worked. Looks good. See, it kept it the same size. Okay, we need to put in some icons. Okay, that looks a little bit better, but it's still, oh, wait a second. Wait, I just did something. Something got a little messed up. Okay, so it overlapped it. So I'm going to have to tell it. Okay. Professional experience section is overflowing on the right side. So it does overflow on mobile. Looks great other than that. And then is there anything else we need to kind of fix? Oh, you add in icons for tech stack section. Did it actually? Okay. Let's see. Let's see what it says. Yep, overflow issue. I've adjusted the layout to prevent that. Specific icon queries for the tech stack. Let's see what happens. So especially for somebody like me, where my experience is primarily front end, and I have very light experience with back end. It's just so easy for me to get something going with this. It's really crazy. Let's see if they got anything in here. No, still no icons. Okay, and this is a different kind of experience section. Let's see what happens when we publish it. Let's deploy the changes. There's something going on with the icons. What's going on with that? Ensure the image component. All right, let's see. But yeah, like, as I was saying, it's just so much easier for me to actually build something out. And, I understand the fundamentals of backend, which just makes it easy. I will say that if you're not experienced coder at all, this is going to definitely be a bit difficult. However, I taught people coding for a number of years. Okay, that looks a lot better. There we go. So that's fixed. I taught people coding for a number of years, and it would be so much easier for me to teach somebody this than it would be to teach them, front-end development and then full-stack development. I mean, front-end, we had like a 16-week program, for full-stack. I don't even know what it would be. It'd be so much longer than that. So, okay, for some reason it's not getting icons in. I don't know why. I might even just get rid of that icon section entirely and just see if I can just place all of them kind of next to each other, just because it doesn't look great anyway. I don't even know if I would stack it like that. Let me just say redo design, the entire design. see what it does. So yeah, it would just be a lot easier to teach somebody this than it would be to teach them, all the basics of, or it's not even basics, it's like the complexity of CSS, for example, and then JavaScript, and trying to go into all of that. It would just take so much longer to do than just to walk them through. Now, I think you would still need them to understand how these things are working, but they don't have to necessarily have done it by hand for years in order to get to this point. I just don't think that it requires that. So let's just see. Oh, there we go. I like that a lot better. Okay. See, so it's just able to basically fix it. And again, I can just, deploy the changes. And it's looking good. And then, of course, you want to get your own images. You could just grab images from chat. You could add in your own projects. So if we go to code here, and we go to project section, right here we have the 3 projects at the top that it's pulling in, and you just change the title of the project, change the stack, change the description, add an image URL, and then a link as well, and you're good to go. You're basically all set. Let me see. All right, so it's still going right now. Okay, let's go and refresh. Look at that. That's a lot better. Okay. Something I want to see real quick. So that animation is going. So it's doing that normal animation where stuff is going. I like the animation. It's fine. And again, if we want to add in our own custom animation, we can. This isn't centered, so I'm not like a big fan of that. But it's okay. I don't even care, right? I'm just trying to show you basically what we're making. Just, the designer part, which doesn't like some of it. But it's completely fine. Again, I would just go through and I would just make little changes, tell it what to do, make some fixes, make sure that I'm adding the right stuff in here. See, even like a lot of this stuff is already working. I just like how it's working functional-wise. It's just fantastic. It's easy to do. If I was just doing this without explaining it, it would be even faster. And again, I'm probably going to be doing a lot more of these live streams every day, so I can just show people like, hey, this is what I'm working on. I built a lot of stuff for fun using this, unrelated to my business, just because I love AI. My current business is kind of light on tech. I am integrating a bunch of AI stuff into it, but I'm just more interested in doing a lot of side projects, especially projects and things that I can do with my kids and things that they might enjoy. So I'm just kind of playing around with that. So I'll be doing some more in the future here. But yeah, if you watch this video and you like it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have some ideas on something you want me to make a comment. And this is a super early channel. I have 0 subscribers, 0 likes, 0 everything. This is my first video. I don't even have anybody watching live right now. So just go ahead and write a comment. Say, hey Matt, can you make this? Don't ask me to make GTA 7 or anything like that. Keep it reasonable. But I'll also show you guys the cool things we could do. I want to basically, I'm probably going to do a few educational stuff. That'll probably be the next one tomorrow is going to be finding cool things to do for kids on a daily basis and actually printing that out, basically having it displayed on a list every day. And then I'll show you guys it's incredible how easy it is to do login. It's incredible how easy it is to pull in other things. I was working on a D&D creator and basically I was choose your own adventure book generator essentially. That's actually easy to do where you could talk to the AI and have conversations. So I actually built one of those already. That's one of my projects here. So I could actually, you could just talk and actually do a D&D like kind of game. And we could get way more advanced with it. That's the cool thing is you can just kind of keep going with it. So I think that's what we're going to keep doing. So again, if you want to see something specific, put something in the comments. Please please subscribe so I can start building this up because I'd love to be able to show this to more people. Love to get some ideas. I have a bunch of ideas, but again, I want to hear from other people what they want, what we can make and kind of make some cool stuff together. So yeah, all right. Hope you enjoy it. See you next time.